All right. Want to thank everyone for coming to the show tonight. I'm Mr. Tracy, and tonight is my first show in video, actually. And I have a very special guest tonight to speak with. But before we get into the interview, I wanted to let everyone know that I will share the links below to this video to my Rumble channel and my Telegram page. Please like and subscribe to this YouTube channel for new and upcoming shows. Tonight we have on the show Mr. Nicholas Gerber, Mitchell Nicholas Gerber. Mitchell is an investigative journalist who has dedicated 22 years exposing the forced organ harvesting of the Falun Gong, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, spiritual movement in China. With a resilient character and a determined mind, he has been working hard on the front line of a significant cause, which has been coined a new form of evil. Mitchell has been traveling the world in a crucial attempt to raise awareness about the forced organ harvesting of the Falun Gong in China, where hundreds of thousands of these innocent practitioners have been rounded up, sent to over 2,000 state-mandated hospitals, their organs cut out of their bodies while alive, the organs then sold for massive amounts of profit, and the bodies then burned in crematories to conceal the evidence. Mitchell's intention is to get the word out about the forced organ harvesting in China, as well as gain support across as many media outlets and channels as possible about this new form of evil, especially the innocent Falun Gong practitioners. And he calls to action kind-hearted human beings who will welcome an interesting discussion about this continuing crime and pressing topic. Mitchell, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here. Let's just start off and talk about the Falun Gong and what is it all about?
Well, Tracy, first of all, it's an honor, a privilege to be with you and your wonderful listeners and audience. Yes, 22 years on the front lines. I'm still close to the Chinese border as we speak, exposing this new form of evil. And I'll explain to you why Falun Gong, which is a spiritual movement, relates to the American national, the American patriot, the American citizen, and the world in general. It's because the reign of terror, the CCP, which has been backed by the globalist cabal, the Rothschilds, the Khazanian mafia, the Jesuits, the K9 bankers, Henry Kissinger, Bill Gates, Anthony Fauci, Biden, Hunter Biden, the governments around the world, the World Health Organization, the United Nations, you name it, the IMF. This communist specter, this reign of terror that has decimated 5,000 years of traditional Chinese culture, has wiped out more life than 2 world wars combined. That's not hyperbole or conjecture. That's actually fact. 100 million people at least. Has killed under their one-child policy about 400 million babies, and now are harvesting alive innocent spiritual practitioners of this type of meditation, mind and body practice, very similar to Tai Chi or yoga, namely Falun Gong, also known as Falun Dafa. And they've been harvested alive in state-mandated hospitals and killed to fuel a multi-billion-dollar business. And the same regime that is doing this concocted the, okay, if you know what I mean, and I'm sure your audience knows.
Yep.
And if you go down the rabbit hole in the Wuhan lab and the connections to the Western traitors and all the globalist cabal that have used this extermination level event, so to speak, to depopulate and exterminate innocent people, particularly our children, it is all sourced to the communist regime. And the infiltration into our own republic, into our US military, into our government agencies, into our intel bureaus, into our court systems, even our rigged elections were caused by the infiltration of the CCP. And why Falun Gong is so important, which is a spiritual movement, it started as a spiritual movement, it has always been a spiritual movement, but it branched out into creating the Epoch Times and the New Tang Dynasty Television, which is the largest Chinese independent news station out of China, is because, and it's so, because it's so, the reason why it is so imperative that people know about this and support Falun Gong is because it was the only one, the only group and the main group originally to warn the world of the specter of communism that is ruling our world now, backed by the globalist cabal that are trying to destroy our freedoms, our liberties, and our lives. And all these forced vaccine these mandates, these draconian policies, these lockdowns, they're all stemming the political correctness, the cultural Marxism, the wokeism, the radical leftist cancel culture. This is all rehearsal for mass murder. It all stems from the CCP and the globalist cabal using this communist spectre to rule our world. So that is why and how it relates in a nutshell.
So on the Falun Gong, why was it outlawed in China, and why is it being brutally persecuted by the Chinese regime?
I want to actually play a clip to share because I think a clip tells a story more than 1,000 words. Okay. So, and then I'll explain the 4 reasons behind it. But take a look at this. This is from the award-winning documentary Hard to Believe. Take a look. Hopefully it's coming through loud and clear on your side.
Yep.
In the late 90s, Chinese government surveys said up to 70 million people were practicing Falun Gong daily. Health bills were decreasing, crime rates were falling, and morality was rising. So why were these people Mona Ye was one of the millions meditating in parks every day.
There was a park across the street from my house. Because the first exercise site couldn't hold so many people anymore, it divided into the second, the third, the fourth. So at every street corner and in every park, you could see people practicing Falun Gong.
There was from different kind in society. It was many policemen and military.
It was just fundamental part of society at that time, and everybody knew somebody who practiced.
Falun Gong is a traditional practice of self-cultivation, a practice of slow-moving exercises, meditation, and studying of the principles of truthfulness, compassion, and tolerance, and trying to adopt those into your life.
While morning exercises had always been popular in China, Falun Gong brought more than just health benefits.
For thousands of years, the Chinese people have believed in Buddhas and Taos and becoming an immortal. Falun Gong really dared to talk about these things. And immediately people took it to heart. Oh, the true ancient good things of China have come back.
However, after 50 years of political campaigns to destroy traditional beliefs, any revival of spirituality was seen as a threat to communist rule.
Since I was 11, I experienced all of the Chinese Communist Party's campaigns. Group after group of good people were targeted. There was no faith, no truth. Falun Gong stood in stark contrast with communist ideology. So it would be very hard for it to be tolerated by the CCP.
With more practitioners than members in the Communist Party, the party chief, Jiang Zemin, saw it as a threat to his power and overruled the government support of Falun Gong.
Jiang Zemin issued order, set up special office called 610 Office, in charge of nationwide campaign of persecution.
Known as China's Gestapo, the 610 agency was above the law and could use any and all means necessary to achieve its sole mission, to eliminate Falun Gong. The nationwide campaign began July 1999.
So as you can see, Tracy, and everybody, Falun Gong became the largest spiritual movement in China. And it's these simple exercises. These exercises are very similar to Qigong, martial arts, Tai Chi, breathing exercises, the ancient Eastern way of martial arts, like Kung Fu and Krav Maga and karate. They always used to do these kind of postures. As you can see, these are the exercises and to stretch the body and open the body. So when Falun Gong, also known as Falun Dafa, became the largest spiritual movement in China, the number of people, Tracy, they were practicing Falun Gong outnumbered the number of people in the registered membership Communist Party base of over 30 million people. In a communist country, I live in one. I've been living in one for a couple of years now, ever since the lockdowns and the COVID crisis and etc. etc. You are owned by the state. Okay, I'm lucky as an American citizen. I still have advantage. I've got an American privilege. Okay, I can leave, but I'm married to a Vietnamese wife, and that's why I stay. I stay because I fell in love, and But I've been monitoring the activities of the CCP, the crimes in Southeast Asia. But when you are living under a communist state, you have no private property, you have no gun rights, you have no private bank accounts, you have no constitutional laws, constitutional amendments. You are controlled, you are monitored. Everything is tracked, everything is censored. And this is exactly why they want to export it to America and dismantle the gun laws, make it very hard to, in terms of safety and for the greater good. This is what they want to do, implement. This is how it relates. This is why Falun Gong is so important for people to listen and pay attention and support, because they have been warning the world of this communist infiltration. And now it is actually in the backyard of American citizens and worldly citizens. So when Falun Gong became the largest spiritual movement in a communist regime, it is very threatening because they can't control the hearts and the minds of the people. However, not only did they ban and demonize the spiritual practice, but they started to make money off their organs, because when you spiritually practice a healthy mindset, a healthy heart, and a healthy body, you elevate to health. Your benefits of health are really powerful. Your emotional, mental, and physical state amplified in a health state that they never saw before. That's why it became the largest spiritual movement in China. Whether you're a Christian, Buddhist, atheist, Catholic, Jewish, it doesn't matter. I come from a Judeo-Christian family. I believe in the Lord. No one's going to change that. Okay? I'm not in any cult. I wouldn't join. I wouldn't align myself, and I wouldn't support any cult or extremist or radical organization. Why I aligned myself with Falun Gong as a Judeo-Christian man, and a warrior of God and a patriot, is because the principles are very attractive to me: truthfulness, compassion, and tolerance. And the exercises I've benefited greatly, especially with my anxiety, partying and drinking and smoking a lot. I've really stabilized myself in a way that is very healthy to my relationships, to my love life, and to my business contacts. However, the communist regime profited off these organs and have fueled a multi-billion-dollar business off these organs. And I have one more clip. I know I've been talking too much, but I got one more clip to share with you about the actual organ transplant trade, if you would like me to share that.
Sure.
This is about why and what is going on with the organ harvesting trade. Take a look.
So the question becomes, how has China become the #2 transplant country in the world?
The place where every other country in the world gets its organs, not available to them. Where are these organs coming from?
Every day there are a dozen of people that are executed or killed for organs in China.
This is run by the state. This was murder, and it came from the state.
Yeah, state organs is certainly an accurate title for what happens to organ pillaging in China. It's done by the state, for the state, to the benefit of participants. And the secondary goal in it, not the primary goal, is to get rid of so-called enemies of the party, the Falun Gong practitioners. The numbers grew so quickly from 92 to 99, 70 to 100 million by the government's own estimates.
Its values, truth, compassion, and forbearance, were out of sync with those of the Communist Party. So, as you know, Jiang Zemin, the president of the country, the head of the party, labeled it a cult and commenced a brutal persecution against its practitioners from mid-1999 to the present day.
Falun Gong values are quite real, and they're quite attractive. They actually represent the whole side of China, which has been completely suppressed for many years. It's a side of China that most Westerners never see.
Official line in terms of repression of Falun Gong of the party is bankrupt them financially, ruin their reputations, destroy them physically. So that the vilification is destroying their reputations. The organ transplants is destroying their physical. There's the physical examinations, the blood testing, the organ examination, which have no other explanation than suitability for transplant. That they had this endless supply of organs available on demand, and the only limit was capacity. And so what you saw after 2001 was this huge building boom. New beds, new wings, new hospitals focused on transplants. And so that the volume, when the system's operating at capacity, increased year by year.
Incredible, huh?
Wow. Amazing. So who actually controlled China for the last 50 years?
That is the CCP. The CCP is a reign of terror. And I just want to share with you and your listeners while I explain to you who has been controlling China. This publication, if anyone who wants to learn more about it and read, this is a free publication. You can watch it, you can listen to it, and you can read it. It's called The Spectre, How the Spectre of Communism is Ruling Our World. And particularly chapter 5, which is part 1, Infiltrating the West. And this is from the Epoch Times, and it shares about the communism and how it has been controlling this world. Now, again, the bottom line is, Tracy, is that the reign of terror, which is the CCP, infiltrated into America as it did with China. It is an imposterous cult that has tyrannically controlled with totalitarianism, nepotism, just an evil reign of spectre that has decimated not only the human being on the physical side, but also intentionally disconnected this human spirit to divine grace, to heavenly law, and spiritual morality, which is very important to keep a society normal, healthy, and thriving. And this is where you're seeing the desecration of our gender, the desecration of our traditional values, the desecration of our constitutional laws being eroded by the deep state and the globalist cabal, which I think your audience is very well aware of because this is what you speak to and are very passionate about. That's why XRP, that is why the quantum financial system is going to be coming into being, Nesara, Gesara, because we have to get back to constitutional law, not this totalitarian, despotic, satanic force and system of control where the World Economic Forum, led by Lord Palpatine himself, Klaus Schwab, says, you'll have nothing and you'll be happy. They're normalizing cannibalism. They're normalizing pedophilia. They're normalizing sexualization of children. They have confiscated the gold, which is now being reconfiscated and redistributed and to back the quantum financial system once it all switches over. Once this global fiat currency that's not worth the paper it's printed on, toilet paper is more of a value than it's printed paper garbage. Okay, but they stole all the gold. And all these government systems, this new world order, this great reset, has all been aligned and based on the communist spectre that is ruling the world, based on Rothschilds, Rockefellers, and others, particularly who have backed Mao Zedong. And why, again, I circle back to Falun Gong is so important, is that Falun Gong practitioners in China and then outside of China have been doing everything they can to warn the world about this evil. So the communist spectre is ruling our world and has been ruling China for the last 100 years, not only the 50 years, 100 years.
Gotcha. So yes, you're right. We over here in my world, we know about the black hats, white hats, that sort of thing. But I did hear you talk about the white dragons. Talk a little bit about, because that is the good side of China, right? People kind of helping. Talk a little bit about the white dragons.
There are 3 dragons, to my knowledge, that I believe in. Okay, I could be wrong. Okay, because again, for entertainment purposes, I don't want you guys to get banned, or I'm doing a lot of things to risk my life here on the front lines. I'm not in Kansas no more. You know what I mean? I'm a constitutional patriot. I believe in the Constitution, but I am on the close to the Chinese border. So, but I do believe to fail to support what is good and to fail to expose what is evil is unacceptable. So, to my knowledge, there's 3 types of dragons that I'm most concerned about. the red dragon, which is the specter of communism. That is what the globalist cabal is using and aligning to in order to control this world and to destroy humanity. The second one is the black dragon, which is mafia, the triads. That's a low-level dragon system of corruption, prostitution, drug trafficking, child trafficking, which have been cleaned out as well. The red dragon actually controls the black dragon. The red dragon uses the black dragon to do its dirty work. It's the mafia. Okay, it runs the districts, etc., etc. And the red dragon controls them. So they don't get so the red dragon stays in the shadow. It's a vampiric specter. That's why the cabal lives in secrecy, because they're Luciferians. They live in secrecy, and they have their lower level minions do the dirty work. And when they're finished with them, they just cut off their head, and they give them flesh or money or power or whatever title, put them up in a mansion, and when their time is done, they kill them off. Just like the Illuminati. You sell their soul to them for a piece of gold, and when they finish with you, they chew you up and spit you out. Because Luciferians don't care about anybody, anything, even their own families. They'll kill their own families to save their own skins. Okay. Then you have the white dragon. The white dragon are the Chinese elders, are the Chinese that are against the CCP, that are now dismantling the Chinese Communist Party. And an example of the white dragons, because there are few, it's particularly, and I'll share this with you if I may. I haven't got it up on my screen, so just give me a moment. This is an example of the white dragon. This is in Chinese. Let me just see if I can get it in English for you, so I can share with your listeners. Okay. This is a type of an example. Let me share this with you. This is called the Tweed Dung movement. Okay, this has actually led to the withdrawal of over 400 million Chinese people. It's called the Tweed Dung Warriors are the hope of China. The Chinese people have quit the party and its affiliate organizations. This is the Global Service Center for quitting the Chinese Communist Party. The White Dragons and the Elders honor this service because it is the service that is allowing the Chinese people to see the communist specter for what it is, and to initiate the collapse even faster of the Chinese Communist Party. As you can see, there are many ways to quit the CCP: to certify application, to check and verify. This is completely aligned with exposing the persecution of Falun Gong, and again, to allow the Chinese people to understand about the CCP and facilitate even more of a collapse and an imminent collapse of the Chinese Communist Party, which will usher in a new constitutional republic into China. Okay. And I wanted to share with you one more thing, but a lot of people think that Xi is a white hat. Okay, people are talking about Xi as a white hat. Well, let me share with you. There's two requirements that Xi has to publicly do in public eventually. Okay, two things. He has to denounce the Chinese Communist Party completely and the Jiang Zemin faction. The man that you saw on the video I showed you twice. He's the party head of the CCP. He's the black hat, Jiang Zemin. He has been backed by the Rothschilds, Soros, Lord Rothschild, Henry Kissinger, the Zionist cabal, the Khazarian mafia. He's all part of that. Okay. Yeah. Hu Jintao is also part of that, but Hu Jintao is more of a he's more of an in-between guy. He hasn't got the power. Jiang Zemin was the evil head of the Chinese Communist Party. He was used by the Black Hats or the old forces to create a reign of terror against Falun Gong and the world. And he also concocted which is the bioweapon. All right. I don't want to go further into that, but this is all bioweapon warfare. Okay. Right. Colluding with Fauci and Daszak and DARPA and Gallo and the World Health Organization, etc., etc. So with Xi, we've heard that he's a white hat. Well, this will confirm that in my book that I will believe in my investigation, in my own understanding, that he is absolutely a whitehead if he does two things. Again, denounce the Communist Party and the head of the CCP, which is the Zhang faction. Okay, and two, end the persecution and forced organ harvesting of Falun Gong. He has to do those two things. If he does those two things in public, if she comes out and talks about that, you know he's a whitehead. That's what I wanted to say.
Okay. So, like in a nutshell, where do you think we are, or where do you think we are in the progress of defeating this evil regime?
We are now here. It's a battle between good and evil. The white hats, the good, have won the war. The imminent collapse of the Chinese Communist Party, what I just showed you with the Global Service Center, 400 million. When we reach about over 500 million Chinese, we've got about 100 million to go, or about 800,000 people left. When we reach, and it's going fast now. I mean, you should see. I mean, the numbers are just each and every day. Hundreds and thousands of people, Chinese people, are revolting, especially after the lockdowns, in the heavy lockdowns in Shanghai and Beijing. It's a political war. There are two factions fighting: the Xi and the Zhang faction. So Xi knows full well that the enemies of God and the enemies of the white hats are Zhang's men. But again, he has to come out in public to denounce the CCP and end the persecution of Falun Gong. They haven't done that yet, but we're hoping for this, and that will confirm that that the white hats are that he's a white hat. But again, where we are, to answer your question, once the 500 million mark is reached of the CCP quitting the Chinese Communist Party, that will signal the end of the CCP, and you'll see a serious collapse of the Chinese Communist Party. Once that happens, once the specter of communism that is ruling our world, that is being used, literally being used by the globalist black hats to control and infiltrate and try and dismantle the last beacon of hope, which is the constitutional republic. Okay, once that system collapses, that communist specter collapses, that's when you'll see the change, and that is coming within the next, I would say, okay, the time frame. We can't give dates.
Right.
Basically, events. It's happening really fast now. I mean, so you can see the Georgia Guidestones, dismantling of the Georgia Guidestones, the direct energy weapons. There are dark energy weapons and there are light energy weapons. Project Odin, Rainbow Currencies, Skynet. You know all about this. I'm preaching to the choir in your audience, by the way. The med beds. Okay, all this is coming. All this is coming. But what I think the time frame is, as we speak right now, there's a lot going on. Right now, there's a lot huge things are going on behind the scenes. The DUMBs, the deep under. Anyway.
How do you think this ties in with Taiwan? Because we hear that China is going to invade Taiwan and take care of Taiwan, kind of like Russia took care of the U country. Is that true, or is that false?
No, Taiwan will not fall. America will not fall. Taiwan is a land of great courage. Taiwan is ready to fight with all its heart. But I do believe, because things are not what they seem. Things are not what they seem on the surface. Okay, so with the collapse of the Chinese Communist Party, I believe and this is just what I believe, the military in China, it's the division, just like the deep state and the patriot state. It's very similar. It's very similar, parallel dualities or parallel worlds, but in the same boat. What's happening in America and what's happening in China, what's happening around the world. It's the battle between good and evil. There's the deep state and there's the patriot state. Even in Taiwan, there's the CCP alliance and then there's the patriot alliance. Even all over the world. Okay, you've heard about the Iraqi dinar, the Zimbabwean dollar, and the Vietnamese dong. Those three are very powerful currencies that are being backed by the globe by gold, as well as over 200. I think Dr. Charlie Ward was talking about them as well.
Yeah.
So with Taiwan, there will not be an invasion in Taiwan.
Okay.
But what will happen? This is what from my sources, or what I believe. There will be a reunification of Taiwan and China as one again after the CCP has collapsed.
Gotcha. So me and you have something in common where we both lived in Georgia a little bit. And
Georgia,
before we
yes.
hit the record button, we talked a little bit about sports and Georgia Bulldogs and that sort of thing. But you mentioned the guide stones, so you're thinking that was a direct energy weapon that took that down?
Absolutely. And it was a light energy weapon. So there's two types of direct energy weapons. There's the AI from the Black Hats, and then the LEWs and Skynet and Project Origin from the White Hats. Okay, remember, black and white, Sith and
Yes.
Jedi,
Yes.
good and evil.
Yes.
That's what we're playing, and we're in the middle of it.
Okay.
Great time to be alive, brother.
Right,
Great
right.
time to be alive, you know. And we also have Kofefi. You know Kofefi.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We call it Kofifi.
Kofifi, yes.
Yeah.
That's actually a frequency that is dismantling the 5G network in order to dismantle the electronic bandwidth to ignite what's in the system of the V.
Yes.
In order to save as much life as possible. It comes down to a very simple understanding when you really look at it in simplest terms. That's what's very important. Simplicity is always best. Complexity is not good.
Right.
Simplicity is the white hats, the good guys, whatever you want to call them, are trying to save as many lives as possible using the black hats ploy of destruction. That's where Operation Warp Speed came in. Everybody, including myself, thought that Trump was a traitor, that Trump was part of the black hat, pushing this bioweapon. But he's not. He tried to save as many lives as possible with the white hats. Okay. Now, I've also heard that certain white hats have turned traitor, that they're clones, that Trump there were two twins, and he's not good. I don't believe that. I really don't. I think that Trump has been saved, has been protected, like myself. I'm not a clone, and I've been doing this a long time.
Yeah. And
I know that the power of God is protecting Trump. Trump was brought by God, and I don't want to make it too biblical, but we are biblical, to save humanity from the communist specter and the globalist cabal. And the white hat militaries around the world, all 32 or 40 of them, are working directly under the leadership of the white hat military of the United States Constitution of 1776, which Trump has now rescinded back from 1871, which was a globalist corporation established in Washington, D.C., out of St. Peter's Basilica in Rome and the Vatican. They call it, and the Jesuit order and the Knights of Malta, etc., etc., etc. Now, they say Trump is tied to that. I don't care what Trump is tied to. The fact of the matter is that the heart is only what God sees, and I only see what the heart is. And Trump's a good man. Trump's not an evil man.
Right.
Biden is an evil man. Biden is a clone, by the way. Biden's dead.
Yeah. 2019.
2019. And there's a lot of trials and executions going on since 2019 of a lot of Kabbalists. Basically, the black hats are checkmated, but they are the more the mass reveal comes, and the more this reveal forges ahead to be exposed to the mainstream media and to the Western and to the sheep and the world, the more vicious these black hats are to try and destroy our younglings and our world. But everything's under control, and I trust the plan in that.
Right. So there's another misconception. I don't know if it's a misconception, if you want to call it that, but you grew up, I guess, in a Jewish home.
Yeah.
And we've all heard that the white hats are saving Israel for last. What's your take on that?
That's true. That's true. Because Israel was hijacked. Judaism was hijacked by the Khazanian mafia. Khazanian, Jesuits, Zionists, it's all an evil, Kabbalist, satanic, Luciferian specter, communist specter that has tried to destroy Judaism, which is a righteous religion.
Right.
Christianity as well, Catholicism as well. You've got the satanic Vatican, okay, that has made a mockery of Catholicism and Christianity. So just like with the communist specter of China destroying Falun Gong and Buddhism and Taoism and the Uyghur Muslims, you got radical Islamification killing, making a mockery of the Uyghur Muslims, which is a righteous sect of Muslims, of Islam. So you have all these righteous religions, but they have been desecrated and violated by the satanic Luciferian cult and spectre of communism, which is now ruling our world. And because of that, the degeneration of the mind of the clergy and these so-called fake prophets, and we were talking about the mega church pastors and Sadhguru out of India who wants to depopulate, have confused the minds of those who have believed in them. And that's why it takes a strong will of discernment and a strong heart and connection to our Savior, to our God, to the Creator, to the Lord, King of Kings, Lord Creator, whatever it is to you, to understand what is going on. And I think one of my mentors and one of the greatest doctors who ever lived, who passed away, he actually was assassinated, by the way, from Dr. Vladimir Zelenko, the Jewish doctor.
Yep.
He was a real Jew. There are satanic Jews and there are satanic there are righteous Jews. There are satanic Christians and there are righteous Christians. There are satanic souls and there are righteous souls. That's what it comes down to, Tracy. It doesn't matter about the religion, the creed, the color, the nationality, or the name. Your soul, your heart, are you standing on the right side of destiny or the wrong? But he said, this is a Goliath of monstrosity that this evil cabal, these enemies of God that are placed into our society. We're living a duality of good and evil. We're living a great deception. We're moving away from that into a great disaster, which we're now in. And we're about to see the great awakening, which is the triumphing over the evil by the light.
Right.
And in the middle of all this, what he said, which is very profound, each and every human being, especially an adult, has to reconcile what we can do. What we need to do is take responsibility for our own lives and reconcile our hearts with the Creator. I think that makes sense.
Yep. So it kind of ties into Nesara Gesara, because, if you've read the law of Nesara Gesara, there's no more wars and all of the bad stuff's going away. So in my mind, all of this stuff you're talking about has to be done with before we can bring that in to what we are.
Exactly. And Nesara is the same as Gesara. Gesara. It's a new world, free of debt, of all this criminality. That's why Mel Carmine is very cool. I like Mel. Mel's cool.
I've been on Mel's channel quite a bit. Me and Mel are pretty good friends.
Sending my best, and I hope I can get on his channel with you. I think we can do it three-way. I hope
we can do that.
I'd love to.
So we got about 20 minutes left. I got a lot of questions. I want to try to get through as many as we can. What are your thoughts on Elon Musk, the Starlink system, and the Q phone?
That's interesting. What I know from Elon Musk, and I don't know much, that he plays both sides of the fence. He's AI operated. You can see it in his demeanor. And Skynet, he knows he had a good hand in helping the white hats with the Skynet, but he also had a hand in the black hat AI. So I don't trust him completely. I would like to, but there have been turncoats and traders in the white hats coalition, unfortunately. Couldn't help themselves. Okay. That's why I think the plan has been extended longer, because they've had to really clean out and cull the herd of these evil wolves in sheep's clothing, which have been placed in by the black hats. I mean, this has been going on for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Okay, a long time. And as far as Q, I trust Q. I think Q is, I mean, whether you can call them General Flynn's frogs, digital frogs, Q Army, White Hat Army. We're part of it. I think anybody who wants to do right in this world, who wants to expose evil and has the courage to stand for the good, is of the light, is a white hat. You don't have to be a high-ranking official or military intelligence to be part of the good side. I call myself a Jedi. I call myself a spiritual warrior of God. I call myself a patriot. Why? Because I believe in the Constitution. I believe in what they're doing is right. It's discernment, which allows me to decide what side I stand on. So I hope that answers your question.
Yes. Yes. We've seen a lot of dark days. We've seen a lot of light days. We've heard of the 10 days of darkness. When do you think that will happen, or has it already happened?
Well, Q came out with that in 2002, right? August 2002, which is kind of interesting because it's August now. Okay. And I've heard a lot of events are going to be happening in August, September, October, November. This is a huge, it's a huge year. It's a crazy year. I mean, Tracy, I mean, this year, this time right now is huge. But the 10 days of darkness, yes, that is used. That's the White Hat's communication darkness, the mass reveal. That could happen at any time. Where there's going to be a black swan event. There has to be a massive, massive event, which is going to proliferate people back into their homes. And how to do that? To shut down internet, to shut down banking, this bioweapon extermination level event has already occurred. So you have to have something, maybe a solar flash.
Right.
Okay.
We've heard that.
That's going to ground everything and place people back into their homes. And the White Hats all around the world are going to initiate an EBS, okay? Because the whole world needs to see this. This is not only America, the whole world has to follow suit because the globalist cabal have dug into every single governmental agency, system of government in this world to destroy human beings, okay? Wherever there has been that's where the cabal has been. So you have to notify every single person in everybody's government. And in everybody's country, there is a white hat and there's a black hat. And the black hats are being dismantled now. They've been exterminated, tried, executed, cleaned out.
Right.
Okay. The DUMBs have been fumigated. The children have been rescued. The gold has been brought back into America. As you said before the broadcast, Trump and John F. Kennedy Jr., who faked his death to make believe that the enemy was in control. It's the art of Sun Tzu. It's the art of war. It's the art of the deal. To make your enemy believe that they're in control when they're not. Okay, they've had to go throughout. Trump was in Vietnam. He was making his rounds to North Korea. I heard that there's a lot that there are white hats in North Korea as well. There are white hats all over the place, in Iraq, in Vietnam. So when this communication darkness goes down, they are prepared to do the exact same thing and follow suit. When America sneezes, the world catches cold. The White Hat Coalition of the United States is the leader. Trump and John F. Kennedy Jr. are leading. And once they switch it, everyone will follow suit. It will be a domino effect, and then people will realize what is going on in their own languages. It's going to be in all languages, but they're going to see and they're going to witness what happens. And that 10 days of darkness is going to be the mass reveal of the tribunals, of the pedophilia, of the child trafficking, of the mass executions, of all this movie and matrix being revealed for what it is. And it's going to be very painful for many people, specifically the sheep, because they won't be able to handle it. So what I would advise is, with this 10 days of darkness, store up in at least two months of food. And even though, I just wanted to say something, even though people won't have that food, there will be military that will have that food, because the White Hat is prepared for that as well. They've got over 50 years of food. The Black Hats have tried to starve people, destroy the shortages of water, and the White Hats have covered that as well.
Right. So when this happens, how soon do you think the med beds will roll out? Do you think immediately, or wait a little bit, or how do you think that plays out?
I think they've already been rolled out in certain situations, because they cannot wait. I don't want to talk too much because I know your YouTube channel. I mean, the last time I was in Nicholas V, he got completely suspended. Okay, so but we haven't got time, because at least 5 billion people have taken this thing. Okay?
Yes.
They've been deceived. So the med beds are these pods, these green pods, right? You've seen the pictures.
Yep.
that I believe, okay, and I could be wrong, again, this is how I disclaim, there's no, nothing's for sure in this world, but I know that there's, I disclaim it like that because otherwise people say, oh, you said this and you said that and you're full of crap. Look, do your own research. This is what I feel, this is what I believe as an investigative journalist, that the med beds are already being used and they've really been tested. They're advanced technology. They're basically alien technology, alien advanced technology.
Right.
That the person can sit in the med bed, and it can, all this poison that is in the vials that has targeted and stored, trying to destroy the cells, the DNA, everything can be extracted, and the whole body can be rejuvenated and renewed.
Right. So they're basically trying to get the godness out of us, and the med bed is going to reverse.
Put it back in us. Yes, exactly.
Yes,
exactly.
So I guess the other part of it, which there's a lot of parts, is the financial part of it. So we all have heard, they're going to flip a switch in the financial system. The new QFS system is going to take over the old fiat crappy currencies we've had around the whole world, basically the central banks of the world. How do you see that playing out with the ISO 222 coins and that new financial system coming?
Well, we love XRP.
Exactly.
XRP is backed by gold, digital gold.
Yes.
And XLM is digital silver.
Yep.
And then you've got IOTA, which is iodium, backed by iodium.
Iridium.
Iridium. Sorry, iridium.
Yeah, I did a little research on that today. XDC is copper.
Yes, and algo is palladium.
Palladium.
Yes.
And then you also have another one, XFlare and Spark, which hasn't come out yet, but it's going to be backed by platinum. So there's a lot of things coming, but how do you see all that playing out? I mean, I've heard a lot of different things. Like once we get there, we're going to go meet with our financial advisor, talk about our financial situation, bring in any foreign currencies, bring in our lobster wallets, and they're going to portray us to this new system that's going to absorb all the stuff that we had and put it in the new currency that we don't know yet.
That's what I think as well. Yeah, lobster wallet is very good. I actually found about this at QFS7076.com, I believe it is, from Malcolm Mine.
Yep.
Malcolm Mine is great, and you and Nino Rodriguez, they're all in it. It's a great time to be alive. The Stellar blockchain is very powerful, XRP. Now, talking about BTC and Ethereum are smoke and mirrors.
Yes.
They're backed by nothing.
Yes. And I've heard they were used for nefarious reasons.
For the Rothschilds. Yep.
Yeah, and plus, not only that, they're clunky, they're expensive to use.
Yep.
If I wanted to send you one Bitcoin, it could take, I don't know, hours. And then it would cost you a significant amount of money just to send it. Where XRP, on the other hand, you could send $1 million to someone across the world for pennies on the dollar, and it takes maybe less than 5 seconds to get there. So
and XRP is backed by precious metal. It's intrinsic value.
Right.
Whereas BTC and Ethereum are not. However, I think Ethereum will be used, or BTC will be used as a lower level. It has a foundation. There is a foundation. There is a code to it, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it has been created by the cabal. I'm not sure. I haven't divulged too deeply into it, but I do know that the reason that the massive difference between XRP and BTC is that XRP is digital gold. It's backed by gold.
Yes.
And gold is backing all the currencies. It is the quantum financial system, whereas BTC is just backed by code and nothing else.
Yes. And it takes a lot of energy to mine it. I mean, it's not going to be the coin, but I've also heard that any coin that is tied to Tether, which is USDT, is going to go down as well. So, we've heard, Whiplash say, and other people say many times that 95, 96% of the cryptocurrencies that are out there are going to go away. There's crazy coins out there that are just stupid, have no purpose, no meaning. And and the USDT tether is just like, you know, the Federal Reserve. They can sit there and mint, print, whatever you want to call it, as many USDT as they want to. So all the coins that are associated with that, they're going to go by the wayside, and you're going to be left with the true, you know, tokens that have a true purpose and are backed by metals.
And that XRP could, I mean, there was already a glitch. Remember the glitch on the XRP? It went from 37 to like 21,000, I believe, and then right back. Can you imagine if you would have taken it out in that exact moment? But it was so fast. It was so fast. You know, it's like an idea going public.
That's happening on lobster wallets as well. People document that, hey, I've had, you know, like $200 in here, and all of a sudden I've got like 21 million today. You know, a lot of people have reported that. So, you know, I don't know if it's a sign of good things to come or if it's just, you know, the system, but I have heard a lot of things about lobster, that the Russians are actually taking over the whole program. And there's even evil folks within the lobster program itself that are being dealt with and are being taken out, because they if you're really heavily involved with lobster, like I am, you know that they, in the past, I don't know, 5-6 months, there's been so many warnings, like, you know, Whiplash will recommend a good coin, and you go out there and look at it, and all of a sudden there's, oh, warning, 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 don't buy this coin. It's bad. It hasn't been proven. It's blah, blah, blah. And all it is a smokescreen for us to stay away from it, when in fact it's truly a good coin. There's a lot of that stuff going on.
Absolutely. I got myself some XLM and XRP. You know, I'm a humble journalist. I do this for no name and seek no reward. You know, I haven't got millions of dollars, but I do have some XRP and XLM just to put away in lobster, which is wonderful. Thank God for Malcolm Mine and yourself and you know, all the guys on board of lobster and XRP that I come to understand about this. And I've always known that XRP is a special coin.
Yes.
And so when I hear some of these guys on Malcolm Mine, I'm subscribed to him daily, say that, you know, when this switches over, which is any time now, at any time now, that one day you'll wake up and XRP from 37 cents will be $10,000 a coin, which is amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And then the institutions will buy them back from people. And I think that anybody who's holding XRP, you know, it's a special coin. For me, I'm holding it so I can serve humanity. I don't want Lambos, and you know, I don't want to lavish myself up. Nothing that there's nothing wrong, but for me, I want to have that. When I have that kind of wealth, I want to serve humanity. Yep. This is what it's about. And the Lord is, and that's the next thing. You're a God-fearing man, right, Tracy?
Yes.
You believe in God. I mean, I think your audience is a lot about God and our Savior.
Absolutely.
The righteous pay a sacrifice to get what they deserve, and I do think that the next multi-billionaires and multi-millionaires are going to be based on selflessness, not selfishness. You see a lot of multi-millionaires now that don't care about the people. They exploit the people. They're incredibly selfish. Yeah, they'll give here and they'll give there, only to make themselves look better. But true giving comes from a heart full of wealth before a heart full of, before a pocket full of wealth.
Yeah.
Okay. And so the great divine shift, the financial shift, is all that money coming into the hands of people like ourselves who will serve humanity. And that's also what I see is a divine retribution, that the Galactic Federation, that's Palladiums, Anunnaki, all that kind of stuff, okay, the Galactic Federation, the Outer World Alliances, they are, the Outer World Alliances basically are only chosen because of their godly attributes to the Creator. You cannot be part of the Outer World Alliance, you cannot be part of the Galactic Federation unless you are righteous. If you are not righteous, you are immediately cast down. That's what this is what I know from people I've been dealing with, and people are really being watched. The outer world is watching the inner world. Okay, the inner world doesn't understand that there are many things watching us around. Not only drones and frequencies and military, and especially us. I mean, when we talk about this, they tune into the frequencies. Okay, they tune into the frequencies and they know exactly who we are, what we're doing. They analyze its full spectrum, straight away. Okay, you can't hide it. No one is
right. Yeah, and that's what I've heard. Even when we get down to the the event happens and we're going in to talk to folks about wealth, I've heard that the folks we talk to may not be from here, and they're going to know our true heart and our intentions with our wealth. So if you go in saying, hey, I have $1 million XRP or whatever you got, and you have no plan to do any good you're not going to get anything.
You're not going to get anything.
Yeah.
Exactly. They know full well. It's a full body scan, a full heart scan, a full soul scan. They know exactly who you are at this time, especially you and me putting us out there like this and talking about this, because many people don't know about this yet. Majority of people, I would say, have no idea what we're talking about. They can't handle what's coming.
Right.
That's why it's a movie and a matrix, and it's a pretend.
We're just kind of pulling the curtain back, and we're seeing things that because we have a desire to see it, and we want to know the truth.
Correct.
But I think every night I lay down and I put my head on my pillow and I just pray that God will open my eyes that I might behold great and glorious things in the truth of his word and all of this stuff that's going on in the world, and it's just, Amen. It's amazing. It's amazing.
It's amazing. It's amazing, Tracy. And the best is yet to come. Trust the plan. Where we go one, we go all. Yep. And it's God's plan, really, truly God's plan. And I've been on the front lines for 23 years for no fame, fortune, name, or recognition. To do what is right is what I live for. What is a man who cannot make the world a better place? You sacrifice and you have no fear of doing the right thing. And the cabal is finished. They are dead. They are empty shells that can only look forward to their funerals in hell for what they've done to our younglings.
Yes.
And the battle is not over. The war has won, but the battle rages on.
Right.
So I'm just grateful to be on your show and to share with you and about Falun Gong and the White Dragons and everything. And if anyone wants to learn more about it, may I share a couple of websites?
Yes, I'm going to put all of your links. I'll get your links. Before we close out, I'll pause it in a little bit. Just stay on, and I want to get all of your information, and I'll put it to this video. But go ahead and tell everyone where they can find you and your work.
Absolutely. First of all, guys, if you want to learn more about Falun Gong, at faluninfo.net. What is Falun Gong? 100 million people that are targeted and the organ harvesting against them. If you want to learn Falun Gong, which is absolutely a path to a healthier and happier life, and that's very important, to eat well, to think well, to feel better. This is, it's very similar to like med-bed technology where it heals you from the inside out. It's quite profound. It connects to a higher source. And that's very important, as this great Jewish doctor talked about, reconciling your health and your wellness to the Creator. Well, this is a source of absolute health and wellness. As you see here, body, mind, and spirit. Increase energy and vitality. It boosts the immune system. It improves physical wellness. For your mind, it achieves focus and clarity, relieves stress and anxiety, improves long and short-term memory. And your spirit, it acquires inner peace and tranquility, promotes positive energy, harmonizes spiritual wellness. It's all for free as well. Everything is free, completely free. You can come as you want. You can go as you want. There's nothing cultish about it. There's nothing religious or extreme. I'm a God-fearing man. I don't want anything to interfere with my faith, and I'm sure nor do you. That's between me and God. I'm a Judeo-Christian man, but I love Falun Gong because it really rejuvenates my spirit. It enhances my spiritual vitality, and it takes away my anxiety. It really gives me a great inner peace. So yeah. Learn falungong.com. And for all the skeptics out there, here are all the investigative reports about the organ harvesting. And this is going on in China. This is irrefutable. This is not like some kind of kidney in the bathtub story in a dark alley somewhere in Southeast China or Southeast Asia. EndTransplantAbuse.org. All the investigative reports, particularly for the accountants, the CEOs, the patent lawyers, they can and the skeptics out there, all the investigative journalists are there and the reports. So there you have it. There you have it, Tracy.
Sure,
Great
sure.
to be on your show.
I know you're on Twitter. I know you're on YouTube. I'll get those links from you and I'll put it at the bottom of this video. But man, we really appreciate you coming on. We're praying for you because we know you're out there doing, you know, bad stuff and we don't want you to get hurt. So you'll definitely have to come on again and keep us updated on the progress and how you're doing. And really loved having you on the show tonight.
I loved being with you, Tracy. It's an honor, it's a privilege, and hopefully you, me, and Mel can get on.
I think I can hook that up. Mel doesn't even know I've started doing videos yet, so I'll talk to him tomorrow, and we will get that going.
Great,
all right,
Tracy. Thank you very much, and your audience is amazing too. God bless you.
Thank you so much. Take care.
You too.